Theme: letting go without losing yourself. Main tarot card: the Eight of Cups. There comes a moment in every Cancer's life when the heart whispers something the mind doesn't want to hear. A quiet H, a shift in the tide, a soft knowing that something or someone once cherished is no longer meant to stay. But for Cancer, walking away feels unnatural. This is the sign that holds on, nurtures, protects, even when their own soul begins to dim. You've stayed too long in rooms that grew cold. You've carried connections long after they turned heavy. You've smiled through silences that once held laughter. And yet you stayed, because you hoped, because you remembered the warmth, because you believed in the good you saw. But now, under the dim light of a distant moon, you're beginning to ask, am I losing them or losing myself? The Eight of Cups appears. A solitary figure turns away from 8 golden cups. Not because they are broken, not because they are empty, but because they are no longer enough. This is not a story of abandonment. It's a story of reclaiming. You are not walking away from love. You are walking towards yourself. So today, dear Cancer, we begin a new chapter. One that teaches you how to let go without letting go of your softness, your loyalty, your truth. Because leaving is not the end. Sometimes it's the way back home. The courage to turn around. There's something sacred about the moment you finally turn around. Not in anger, not in drama, but in quiet, soul-deep clarity. You stand at the edge of something familiar, a relationship, a dream, a version of you that tried so hard, and you realize you've done all you could. You've watered the soil. You've prayed over the seeds. You stayed through every season, even the ones that didn't stay for you. And now, you're not walking away in bitterness. You're walking away in love with your own peace, in love with your own healing. For Cancer, the past isn't just memory. It's music, it's scent, it's pieces of your heart stitched into time. So yes, leaving feels like tearing. But what if it's not a tearing? What if it's a soft unfolding? What if it's you growing into your next truth? You're not running, you're rising. Because sometimes the bravest thing a Cancer can do is to take their tenderness and walk away, not in silence, but in self-respect. When loyalty becomes a cage. For Cancer, loyalty isn't just a choice, it's a vow. You give your heart in full, no expiration date, no fine print. You stay even when it hurts. Even when your spirit whispers, it's time. But here's the quiet truth no one tells you. Sometimes, loyalty becomes a cage, and your love becomes a chain. You forgive and forgive and forgive again. Not because they earned it, but because you hoped they would. You pour into someone's cup even as yours runs dry. You hold on to the memory of who they were and ignore the pain of who they've become. But Cancer, loyalty is not meant to cost you your light. You weren't born to shrink. You weren't born to bleed endlessly just to keep someone else whole. There comes a time when your heart says, this is not loyalty. This is self-abandonment. And when that moment comes, you must choose you. Because the truest loyalty begins within. The act of outgrowing what you love. There's a sacred kind of pain when you begin to outgrow the very thing you once prayed for. A persona, place, a dream, something that once fit like home, now feels like walls closing in. And for Cancer, with your roots so deep in memory and meaning, letting go feels like betrayal. You whisper to yourself, but I love this. I built my life around this. I gave it everything. And yet, your soul is shifting. The old rhythm no longer soothes you. The conversations echo instead of connect. You feel it, the slow unraveling, not out of anger, but out of truth. It's okay to mourn what once held you. It's okay to grieve a version of yourself that no longer fits. The unspoken conversations between you and the moon. There are nights when you say nothing, but the moon hears everything. You step outside, wrapped in silence, but your energy trembles. A mixture of exhaustion, longing, and questions. You're too tired to ask out loud. And Cancer, you don't need words to be understood. The moon, your cosmic mirror, has memorized your emotional language. The sighs, the stillness, the way your shoulders fall when hope feels far away. In these quiet moments, you don't need solutions. You just need to be held by something bigger, softer, older than the world. And so, the moon listens. Not with judgment, but with gentle light that whispers back, I see you. I've seen you in every phase, and you are still worthy in all of them. Let yourself be comforted by the presence that asks nothing of you, except that you simply exist. Because even in your silence, you are still heard, still loved. Because growth is never cruel, it's just honest. And when your heart aches in the process, let that ache remind you, you are still alive, still becoming, still brave enough to choose what honors you're becoming over what simply feels familiar. Why Cancer keeps things that others throw away. Cancer, you keep old love letters in boxes, screenshots of conversations that once made you smile, even receipts from moments that felt important. To everyone else, it's just clutter. But to you, they're time capsules. You're not afraid to feel deeply. You're afraid to forget how much something once meant, how someone once made you feel safe, even if that safety didn't last. You hold on to memories like they're fragile glass, because you know the world moves fast. Too fast for the heart to process grief, too fast to honor the beauty that once bloomed and wilted. And maybe that's why people don't always understand you. They don't see the reverence in your remembering. They see sentimentality as weakness. But you know better, because your heart doesn't throw love away. It places it gently on a shelf where even the smallest echoes are treated like treasure. And that is sacred. When Cancer feels too much and says nothing. Cancer, you have this quiet ache, one that sits just beneath your smile. You feel everything, but say almost nothing. Not because you're weak, not because you don't know how to speak, but because you've learned. Most people don't know how to hold what you carry, so you bury it beneath kindness, beneath patience, beneath 1,000 I'm fine answers that never truly were. You wait for someone who listens not just with their ears, but with their presence, with gentleness, with silence that doesn't rush your heart to heal. And when that person doesn't come, you comfort yourself. You cry quietly. You light candles alone. You write in journals that no one else will ever read. But please remember this, Cancer. Your depth is not too much. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. Your stillness in the storm is a kind of grace this world desperately needs. So speak when you're ready. And if no one else can hold it, I promise, the universe still can. Why Cancer loves the ones who leave. Cancer, you have a heart that remembers everything, even the people who forgot you. You hold space for those who walked away, as if their footprints were carved into your ribs. You still check in on them, not with a message, but with a soft thought before you sleep, a silent prayer during the rain, a memory that stirs your chest, like a wave that never quite leaves the shore. Why do you love like that? Because you believe in what people were before they changed. You see their light even when they turn their back. You love the moment of connection more than the promise of forever. And even if they left, you stay. In your heart, in your care, in the invisible thread that connects you to every soul you've ever opened to. But listen to me now. Not everyone deserves that sacred space. Some were only meant to pass through, not stay. And their leaving doesn't mean you were too much. It just means they were not enough to hold the miracle of you, the mirror you refuse to see. Cancer, you carry everyone else's pain like a lifeline, but when it comes to your own reflection, you flinch. You give forgiveness like water, but deny yourself the same mercy. You let others break, heal, return, but you hold your own heart hostage for the one mistake you made when you were simply surviving. Let me ask you, when did you start believing you had to be perfect to be lovable? Who taught you that softness meant weakness, that tears made you a burden? You hold others with reverence, but you speak to yourself with judgment. You whisper compassion to friends, but scream criticism at your soul. But here's what you need to hear tonight. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. And the version of you that still aches, still overthinks, still feels too deeply, deserves just as much love as the one you're trying so hard to become. So look in the mirror tonight, Cancer, not to find what's missing, but to witness the quiet strength that has always been there. You are the poem. Cancer, you were never meant to fit in someone else's mold. You are not a paragraph in their story. You are the entire poem in your own. You've walked through heartbreak without bitterness, sat in silence when no one listened, and loved louder, even after being met with quiet exits. The world has asked you to toughen up, but darling, you weren't born to harden. You were born to feel, to notice the sadness in someone's eyes before they say a word, to bring softness into rooms where everyone forgot how to breathe. This is your magic. You are the one who remembers birthdays others forget, the one who sends just checking in messages with no agenda but love, the one who shows up even when you're unraveling inside, and that matters. It matters more than they'll ever say out loud. So if today feels too heavy, let this be your reminder. You don't have to become less of you to be loved. You don't have to dim your heart to make others comfortable. You are not too sensitive. You are just wildly alive. And that is exactly what this world needs right now.